Today we'll talk about measuring internet speed, with the NDT, which is a blog post that we posted today on this week on our blog. And I ran into, I'm sure everybody understand what measuring internet speed means. Oftentimes you find yourself at home or at your office, and you're having application slowness. That means it takes a lot of time to download a file or access a website. And one of the first things that you might check, or your internet service provider or network administrator asks you to do, is check your internet speed. Now, most of us probably are used to the speed test by Ookla, which is available at speedtest.net. And this is a great test that gives you a good assessment of download and upload throughput. Well, kind of casually, one day I was searching for the correct URL of speedtest.net, and I found, I'll show you, that Google has actually the speed test integrated in the search engine. So if you click here, as you see, I search for internet speed test. Of course, the first result is the Ookla test, but you can also see that now you have this nice window integrated with your search results. And actually, Google also allows you to run a speed test straight from the Google search bar. Well, in any case, I got really captured by this, and I was wondering what is the underlying technology that Google was using. And yeah, I'm showing you now how it runs. It runs pretty well, right? Because here we have a 100 meg connection, so it's pretty good result. To conclude, I click on Learn More, and it turns out that this is basically in collaboration with the MLab, right? The MLab, you can find it better, more links on my on my blog post, but the MLab is nothing more than a consortium whose goal is measurement of the open internet. So they give you a bunch of tools such as NDT and other interesting tools that you can install on your Linux appliance or host, and then run yourself throughput tests. You can find more information again on the blog post that I wrote this week and we published this week. But you know, this is very similar to the speed test. There is also a speed test open source CLI command available, so you can actually run both and compare the results. The big difference between the NDT speed test and speed test.cli, which is the Ookla speed test, is that with the NDT you have to specify the server, right? While the speed test CLI traditionally automatically selects the closest server based on latency. So if you want to see a list of MLab servers available that you can use, of course I would pick the one that are closer to your location. You can see there are not a tons of servers yet, but I'll see that increasing as this project keeps growing. You can see that there is a server in Washington. So if you click there, you get all the details information to point to that server. Then on the blog post that I wrote, you can find the naming for the servers and how to use that specific server. So I want to conclude maybe this short Facebook Live demo showing you from the console of an agent. You can always run also from NetBeans the NDT test bottom line. Like in this example, I've installed the NDT package on one of our virtual agents. Here's the procedure. It's pretty quick and simple. As you can see, I go in the interactive console associated to this virtual agent at the data center, and I execute web 100 control CLT, which is the executable that will run the speed test as part of the NDT package. And then I specify the server name that I'm using. This is the YAD server, that means in Washington, right? This one, YAD05. And I exclude some output that might not be needed. And there you go. Now I launch a speed test command with NDT. You can see actually when compared to the speed test CLI's open source command, it will give you more information such as look if there are middle boxes or firewall, or if the host, the client is behind the NAT, or if the destination server is behind the NAT. It also checks a path MTU to make sure that the packet size is preserved, along the way between client and server. So this is the output, as you can see, download and upload speed, all done from my command line. They also identify the slowest link to be 1 gigabit per second. They also recommend the receive buffer. And then, as I was telling you, detects that the server is not behind the firewall, but the client probably is. And here it also checks that the client is behind NAT. And if that's the case, it also gives you the client's address, private address and public address, which now I omitted. So that's pretty much it. I think it's a very useful alternative to the speed test CLI open source command. I encourage you to test it on your Linux host and maybe do a comparison between the two. With that, I want to conclude today's Facebook Live demo. I hope the information was useful. And as always, if you want to learn more about NetBees or cool topics around Linux, network engineering, network monitoring, go to netbees.net and netbees.net/blog. Thank you so much and have a great weekend.